Is anyone keeping track of that stack on the bottom shelf there? That may be growing and not shrinking, or staying the same size, which means that I may be obtaining books and not reading them. That's a problem. I mean, I'm not asking you to hold me accountable for that or anything, but like, help me. Oh, it's been a week. I've written a lot. And the weird thing is that I feel really, really good about it. Like, all of it. Like, when did all of a sudden everything stop being terrible? I don't know. Stress went away. I mean, there's always stress, but like, major stressors went away. Like, having to travel far away. It was worth it. I honestly can't remember where I was the last time that I updated you, but currently, and I'm reading off of a thing here, so sorry. Currently, I am 16.3% of the way to my overall goal, and I am 77% of the way to my March goal, which is pretty amazing. I've written 64,000 words this month, which means I'm probably, if I continue on the path that I've been going down, fingers crossed, I'm definitely going to write more in a month than I have any month so far this year. There's only been 2 other ones, but that's kind of a big deal. I wrote about 70,000 words in January. And, did I even write? It was like a little over 30,000 in February, I think. It was not a lot. It was bad. That was a bad time. That was a bad month. Low point. Maybe this will be a high point now. Alright. I know I've talked about this already, but I want to go more in depth about it because it's important. Extremely important. I want to make this a thing that we continue to talk about. The thing that has made the most difference for me this month is that I've been doing more free writing, which means that I have been writing things in the evenings and sometimes in the mornings that I never plan on showing anyone. I'm kind of treating these stories, some of them like expansions off of like books and things that I'm writing, and just stories that I've come up with that I want to write. They're not for anyone else. I'm kind of treating these as practice writing sessions, which means that I'm not paying attention as much to like, oh, that was a really well-written sentence, or that totally makes sense, or oh, this connects nicely to this other thing that I wrote in the, chapter before this. I'm just writing. I'm just taking what is inside my brain and just pouring it out onto a page. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's absolutely terrible, and I know that as soon as I've written it, but I just keep going. An exercise that we did a lot in my high school creative writing classes is what my instructor called stream of consciousness writing, which is for a set amount of time. It was usually probably, I think, like 5 minutes, maybe 10. 10 seems like a lot for this. You put your pen down onto paper, ready to write, and once the timer starts, you just write. You are not allowed to pick your pen off of the paper for an extended period of time. You can't just like stop and like think. That's the point. You're not allowed to think. You just have to keep writing whatever comes to your mind, even if it's like you have to write or I don't know what I want to write next like 400 times. You have to just keep going. And what that teaches you is to stop overthinking everything and just write whatever comes to mind. And you might get nothing out of that, however many words you write in that amount of time. You might get like one sentence that's like, oh, I could do something with this. But that's one sentence that you could expand upon and create something out of that you didn't have before. And all you did was you didn't let yourself think too hard. You just took your thoughts and just dumped them out on a page. And that's kind of what I'm doing with this. Like, I do think about it a little bit more because I do care about it. And I am also trying to practice like good storytelling and good, story structure, because that is actually kind of not my strong point. This really has changed everything for me. And I don't know how you write. I don't know if you're always working on something that you want to show someone or if all of your writing is just for you. But either way, I think there needs to be a balance between both. You need to have the writing that you're planning on showing someone, because that kind of gives you the incentive to finish something, to make something really good, to really pay attention to what you're doing and do the best that you can. But you also need the other end of the spectrum, which is you're just writing what you want to write. You're just going crazy. You're just doing it however you want. And then you are allowing yourself to see, oh, that was really good the way that I did that. I can apply that to other things that I'm working on. Or I really didn't do that very well. I think I need to work on this part of my writing or this part of my storytelling. Or it can be as simple as, wow, I really don't know how to spell that word. I should use that word more often in this practice time so that I know how to spell it without having to spell it in my head every time. That's like not really important, except for with the word necessary, because I still can't spell that word without having to stop and think about it. Necessary? Whatever. The thing about this method that I'm trying is that, yeah, there are some days where I'm not making any progress on my book, or I'm only writing a blog post, or, I don't feel like I'm progressing toward a goal. Always with the sighing. But I am having fun. I am getting my word count goals in. I'm actually exceeding them in many cases. I feel like a writer. And that sounds really weird because all I've been doing this year is writing, which makes you a writer. If you are writing, you are automatically considered a writer. Whether you're making money doing it or not, it doesn't matter. Writers write. As the only thing you need to qualify as a writer is that you write. I was just working all the time. I was writing articles. I was writing blog posts. I was trying to finish this book. I'm still trying to finish the book, but I'm almost there. And then what am I going to do after that? Rewrite like 90% of the book, probably. I think part of the reason I was struggling is because I felt so much pressure to like do a really good job, which is not a bad thing. You need that kind of stress in your creative life because you need some kind of motivation to not only continue moving forward, but to really push yourself. I didn't realize that I needed to just let myself think and be creative and explore new things and new characters and tell different stories that I might not be comfortable yet telling in a way that, I'm opening myself up to other people about certain things. It's freeing. It's fun. And I feel like I'm learning a lot about myself as a writer and what I'm interested in, what I'm really good at in terms of storytelling, and what I'm terrible at. If you want to be a better writer, you have to know how to tell stories, and there's no better way to practice than to tell a whole bunch of them, whether they're good or not, whether they're original or not, whether you're going to show them to someone or not. It doesn't matter. Being a writer doesn't mean that everyone sees everything that you're doing. I think that's hard. I'm going to use making these videos as an example for a second. It's really hard sometimes, most of the time, to sit down and make a video like this when I know that not a lot of people are going to be watching. Or no one is going to be watching. What's your motivation when you don't have an audience, or when your audience isn't showing up? Which, the reasons for that don't matter right now. Your motivation should be that you want to create things and continue doing the thing that you've been doing, whether people are watching or not. One of my favorite Hank Green quotes, which is actually from the Dear Hank and John podcast, I don't have it in front of me, but it's something to the effect of, like, the hardest part of creating is the part where you're creating the things and no one cares. No one's paying attention to you. No one's reading what you're doing. No one's seeing the hard work that you're putting into this. If you are someone who relies on, that social accountability and like people knowing what you're doing, it's extremely difficult to keep doing it anyway. But you have to keep doing it. This practice writing, this free writing that I'm doing helps a ton with that, because no one else is motivating me to do this. no one else is waiting for me to finish something, or I can't wait to tell someone about this. It's me sitting down knowing that I'm writing something and no one is going to know about it. That reminds me that I'm writing this for the joy of writing, for seeking improvement. Wow, seeking improvement. Oh my God, it's more coffee time. It reminds me that I am doing this for the joy of writing because I'm seeking to improve, and because sometimes you need to write without all the pressure that usually comes with writing. If you're feeling too stressed to write, maybe the solution is to write without stress. And I'm not always good at that, but I'm getting better, and it's showing because I am 77% of the way to my March goal, and it's March 21st, and I think I'm going to make it. I might even make it past it. I didn't think I would be saying that a month ago. I thought I might be giving up a month ago, but I'm not. I might even be able to catch up. And that's pretty cool to me. So if you're struggling because you're worried about what other people might think, or you're worried if something's good or not, or you're worried if what you're doing is even worth it, try just writing whatever you want, not worrying about it, and just doing it. It may not be the best thing you've ever written, and it may never turn into anything, but little by little, it might just change your entire writing life for the better.